one day my life changed, and I was 24 years old the first time that I was diagnosed with what they called viral myocarditis, and I had no clue what that was. And they soon told me that it was basically an inflammation of my heart muscle due to a virus that I had had, and instead of giving me symptoms, it attacked my heart muscle. I don't remember having a virus, and they're not 100% positive that that's what was the cause, because there's no way to tell for sure, but they were pretty certain that the virus did the damage to my heart. And at 24 years old, I was recently engaged. It was definitely a change in my life, and something that was a very scary situation to deal with. I'm having some different symptoms that were just not me. They were fast heart rate, fatigue. I couldn't walk up just a small flight of stairs without feeling completely exhausted, which was never the case beforehand. I was feeling back to normal. My doctor knew that we wanted to start a family, and so he carefully began to wean me off the medicine because I had been healed. He had healed my heart problem. He had healed that viral myocarditis. That was basically the inflammation. He took that away. So May 2013, my husband and I were blessed to have gotten pregnant, and we were so excited to start our family. And my cardiologist was keeping up just because he knows, obviously, pregnancy is one of the biggest stressors on a woman's heart, and having more fluid in your body and having to work harder. And so he kept checking me during the time. And at 20 weeks along, which is halfway through, he did an echocardiogram. And he noticed that my functioning was back close to 20%. And I woke up Super Bowl Sunday, 2014, last year, February 2nd. And any normal person at 37 weeks pregnant, which is full term, would say, shortness of breath and physical fatigue is because you're full term pregnant, first time. But I knew it was different. I told my husband it was about 5 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't lay down. Every time I would try to recline myself, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't open my chest enough, it felt like, to breathe, and my heart rate was quite high, as well as my blood pressure. And so I knew that those symptoms were heart related. They weren't pregnancy related. I was in heart failure. This is the first time those words had come up. And they did as much as they could to stabilize me and my blood pressure overnight. And my perfectly healthy baby boy was born the next morning. They ended up doing a C-section, and did as much as they could without epidurals and things like that, because they didn't want to put any more stress on my heart. So he was born 907, 5 pounds 10 ounces, and perfectly healthy. A blessing from God. And we were so excited and so blessed, and everybody was just thrilled. It was the first grandbaby for both sides, for both my husband and I as parents. But there was also a failing heart that we had to care for, and that was the number one thing. Once we found out that Carter was healthy, it was okay, let's work on Mom. And so the hospital was gracious enough to bring all of the ICU equipment down to labor and delivery, so I didn't leave the room with my baby. Because in their terms, that was the best medicine I could have, was that baby at the time. Because the first 24 hours after delivery is the scariest part for a mother, a new mother, especially with a heart problem. At that point, everybody was shocked that this baby boy was perfect. He was physically perfect with a mother who was in complete heart failure while carrying him. And that was such a blessing from God. And we went home. It was like, okay, great, go home. You're set. You're on the medicines again. We're going to fix this again. We did it once. We're going to do it again, and same medicines. Go home, be a mom, be on medicines, and we'll get you back. In June of 2014, I caught a common cold, and a normal person, a common cold is 4 or 5 days of eating chicken noodle soup and drinking fluids, but to me it turned into fluid retention, and the heart wasn't able to keep up with those symptoms. They put me on a life vest, which is basically an external defibrillator that looks like a vest that you wear under your clothes. And you have a little pouch that is a defibrillator for the fact that my heart was getting so weak that they were worried about rhythm issues at that time. And they saw while I was in the hospital that I had a couple small episodes of VTAC, which is basically a really fast heart rhythm that could put you into cardiac arrest. My heart failure had gotten to a point to where, as a mother of a 4, 5, 6-month-old, doing the math, I could not care for this child by myself. My husband had to work. He was driving into Austin. We had, at that point, moved in with my parents in New Braunfels because I needed that extra support. And my parents during the day became caregivers for me as well as for my baby. And that was a blessing as well that they were able to do that for us. You know, I wasn't able to breastfeed due to my medicines and my heart failure. So you don't feel like a full mother, especially as a first time. And there's emotional struggles that go with that, you know, you want to be that mom, but you know that your physical self will not let you do that. And with this MRI, they found out that I had a burst defect in my heart that didn't cause my heart problems, but it was something that would not help it heal. And it's called LV non-compaction, left ventricular non-compaction. And basically it is a difference in your heart muscle to where it, once it inflames, it cannot shrink back to a normal size. And it's how she explained it in her English terms. And so she said, with this, knowing this, your heart's most likely not going to heal itself. The medicines are not going to do what they're supposed to do. And so we need to start talking about a heart transplant. And that was a new term too. You know, heart failure is one thing, but heart transplant is a whole nother.